Hey everyone, and welcome to with Bitcoin Bravado. It's an exciting day. We have got today's Shitcoin special.
Let's get it.
Let's get it, man.
Who we got with us today?
And I am here, the Shitcoin Broski, today, gentlemen, with Kyle, BTC Jack Sparrow, and Bitcoin Birch.
Today known as Shitcoin Birch. Let's get it. I'm excited to flip some cryptos. We're gonna have a lot of fun today.
It's been a while that we actually been able to really talk about shitcoins all day long, and I think the time has come to dedicate an episode to a lot of shitcoins and give them some real nice attention. So let's hit it today, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm ready.
Kicking it over to Birch. Go ahead, man. Let's hear how have we done so far. What's going on?
Well, as you guys, thank you everyone for joining Crypto Live. For the podcast listeners out there who are listening to this later, thank you so much for being here. For those joining us live on YouTube, Facebook, and Crowdcast, we're glad to have you. Thank you again so much. In the last couple of weeks since we started this Monday, Wednesday, Friday show, we've been trying to cover news, analysis, just insights, general chat about crypto, and we've had a lot of fun doing it. So we're going to continue to bring this to you. With that being said, since our advent a few weeks back, we've actually covered a handful of shit coins already, including a couple of pretty big gainers like Tomo Chain, which actually moved up about 40% in the time since we covered it on this show. And LBA, otherwise known as CRED, also saw about 40% gains. Cyber Miles, CMT, about 30%. We did talk a lot about Pundi, and for those of you who didn't see it yesterday, they released their X phone, this new phone that is a blockchain device as well as a phone. Wax up about 5% since we talked about it on Monday. Loki's down about 5% on a retracement, and MCO is holding strong with about 5% gain since we covered it. So that's a lot of shit coins. But today, we're going to cover more than that in just one episode. Boys, are you ready?
We're ready.
And looking forward to this all week.
I hope you are excited. Before we get into the Shitcoin special, as always, as much as we appreciate you being here, we know that you're only here for education and or informational or entertainment purposes. Bitcoin Bravado is not an investment company, investment advisor, or broker-dealer, and we do not provide investment advice. With that out of the way, let's get started with some news. Broski, what do we got?
Yes. Big thing on the docket today. Blockchain firm and mining pool Via BTC finished the first high-value ICO using the Wormhole protocol and Bitcoin Cash chain, raising $30 million in 2.2 hours. There we go. Bcash, wow, making the headlines.
So we talked about a Bitcoin Cash long and how we need some exposure to Bitcoin Cash. Is this bullish?
It definitely puts it in front of everyone's eyes again, and everyone's saying that Bitcoin Cash is A or B or C or trash or whatever opinion they have. This is something they cannot ignore. It hurts for me every time I'm talking about Bitcoin Cash and saying that I might actually be bullish on it, but I have to be bullish because they are getting a lot of attention. This is not just this ICO that's happening, but the Bitmain IPO. There's a lot of things happening around Bitcoin Cash. There's a couple of more things that I want to talk about later regarding Bitcoin Cash, but first, this ICO. What do you guys think about it?
I mean, we've been hearing that ICOs are dead, right? We've been hearing that, and that's true. On the books, you can see that a lot of money hasn't been coming into these initial coin offerings of late. Interesting charts on Twitter that you can find with some hashtags. And what I think is most interesting about it is not that it's a Bitcoin Cash ICO. I could give a shit. I don't particularly care for Bitcoin Cash, but is that this ICO raised $30 million in minutes. I mean, that shows a lot of interest in something that I'm personally not even that excited about. So, man, it's a pretty bullish. If anything, it's a sentiment thing, right? It's just obviously if they're willing to throw that kind of money into an ICO, maybe the game isn't dead. Maybe we're just at the bottom.
Yeah, and I think this kind of plays into the whole scalability conversation again. It goes back to the technological differences between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. What I think some people may not know is that originally Vitalik Buterin wanted Ethereum to be run on the Bitcoin blockchain, but was worried about its scalability. And so, at this point, it's kind of like, well, I guess it just went dark in here.
Is it Halloween?
I can give you my finished synopsis here in the dark. So yeah, it's that's the deal. As you can see, Bitcoin Cash now offering ICOs on its blockchain, and will that be a developing storyline in the future? Someone else take it away while I figure out the lights.
Oh, you got to do stand up. Damn conference rooms around here. Yeah. So Bitcoin Cash, we can talk a little bit more about it. We do have a long open. Girani, we talked about a Bitcoin Cash long. Give us a quick update on that, if you don't mind. Can you pull it up, sir?
I will pull this up. Like I mentioned last time, we were looking at Bitcoin Cash. There's a bit of a premium going on between BitMEX and all the other exchanges. So it trades slightly higher on BitMEX than you will see on this chart. It's actually at this very moment not necessarily looking too great, not too bad. Our entries were in this orange box, and then we have another set of entries in this box, and we will actually try and get out of it once we really get below this order block. So currently we're filled 50% on this trade, and it's just below our entries. I think we entered around here and around here. So we're down slightly on it. But I mean, this trade is not lost yet. Yeah.
And just for our friends on the podcast, what are the Satoshi values that you're looking at there, just to kind of walk people through who can't see your screen?
Exactly. Sorry about that. The Satoshi levels on Bitfinex. So mind you, the premium you will pay on BitMEX, but the Satoshi values are 0.7738 BTC. That's where we're at now, and our next entries will be around 0.075 all the way down to 0.0746 ish, and we'll have our stop loss below 720.
I absolutely love it. Thank you, Ronnie. So for those just tuning in, we just talked about the first IPO run on the Bitcoin Cash network, raising $30 million in just a matter of minutes, and our current plans for our trade setup for Bitcoin Cash. Now, jumping right in, Broski, what do we got today on the docket? What's the agenda look like? I can't remember.
So we have got some absolute shit coins to talk about, and we've all got a couple of favorites that we're going to discuss. And I think it's best to just kick things off. Bitcoin Birch, Shitcoin Birch for today. Starting things off with a crowd favorite, OMG.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about Omize Go. I know a lot of you are probably familiar with Omize Go. Many of you, however, are not, because this is an older favorite. This was one of those gems of 2017, former all-time high of $26, currently sitting at $3.50 USD. Omize Go, think Stripe or PayPal or any other payment processor. The parent company to Omize Go is Omize, and they're a startup from 2014. They had a Series B where they raised $17 million, then had an ICO pre-bull market where they raised another $25 million. The market cap of OMG is over $400 million right now, with $40 million a day in trading volume. We'll take a look at the chart here in a quick second, but Omize, the parent company to OMG, is currently working with merchants. They're a Southeast Asia payment processing company, so we wouldn't really be familiar with them here, but they're working with merchants that include McDonald's Thailand. The total amount of money transacted by the merchants that they're currently partnered with is $30 billion a year. Omize, the company, makes transaction fees. They make money on those transaction fees. Now, there's no denying that there's value in payment transactions, and that's going to be a problem that needs to continue to get solved for However, cryptocurrency as an underlying use case for that problem is where OMG comes in. They're taking their existing startup, their existing network, and they're moving it into crypto. That's basically what OMG is. It's just that underlying settlement token. They're releasing a decentralized exchange. They're also releasing staking coming up. And the big project for them is that OMG DEX. Now, imagine a startup with $40 million in capital releasing a decentralized exchange to a 2019 crypto market that has heard for the last year how big decentralized exchanges are going to be in the future. I'd venture to guess that a lot of users are going to be using this thing, and that's going to bring a lot of value to our old friend OMG. So let's take a quick look at the chart. For those of you on the live stream, I will share my screen real quick and hop right in. Can you see my screen? I feel like that's such a noob question. Fantastic. Fantastic. So looking at OMG, for those on the podcast currently, OMG is sitting at around 53,000 Satoshi. Now it's coming to the end of this falling wedge and this massive nearly 2 month bull divergence. I personally think that the altcoin total market cap does have a little bit more downside. So I'm actually stacking bids down to the 47,000 Satoshi range, but I am buying some spot OMG here at the as it breaks out of this rising wedge. My first profit target on this particular trade as I load my bags is going to be at about a 60% gain, right around 80,000 sat. As it breaks through the Ikimoku cloud. This is a very simple analysis. There's not a whole lot to look at. This coin is absolutely decimated. And as you guys on the live stream can see, back in December, when it hit this very similar bottom price. So this is a coin that has absolutely incredible FA as well as beautiful TA. And I, for one, am extremely excited about it.
Well, next, I know OMG is one that we've talked about for a while, and the chart looks amazing. As far as the play goes, as far as big cap like that, money coming into the market, I think it is a solid play. Jack Sparrow, let's talk about some Nix, man.
All right, so for those who don't know Nix, Nix is a privacy coin that is based off the latest Bitcoin Core code base. And what sets them apart in general is that their first aim as a product, to create a product, is to create this platform where they can write smart contracts. And with these smart contracts, they will try and create a so-called decentralized exchange manager. And a decentralized exchange manager is basically a bridge that bridges several different decentralized exchanges and will allow you to trade between exchange A and exchange B using all of their liquidity. But Nix is a privacy coin. So what they will do on this decentralized exchange manager, they will create a privacy layer where if you trade, for example, Bitcoin on exchange A and you want to trade it for coin B on exchange B, let's say Litecoin, you sell your Bitcoin on their application, on their platform for Nix. Then Nix travels through the privacy protocol, and then it gets traded, for example, to Bitcoin or Litecoin. And on the other end, you essentially get Bitcoin or Litecoin or whatever coin you want to trade that is fully private. When I found Nix, there was always this little thing in me where I have to see things first before I believe it. And I think that point has come. I spoke to their lead developer a lot of times, but now I found something on their blockchain that really got me excited. And for this, I need to explain a little bit on how privacy coins work. But for example, Zcoin, they have 0 coins, and a 0 coin is a fully private coin where you kind of switch your XZC for a zero coin, and then this zero coin is anonymous, and you can prove you own this zero coin, but it's not registered to your public address. This makes it super great, but once you want to spend this zero coin, you will have to actually redeem it to a public address. If this public address is tied to an IP or whatever, it relies on like secondary layer security, and this makes it pseudo. How do you say that? Pseudo. Yeah, pseudo anonymous. What I found on the Nix blockchain is a successful transfer of ownership of a zero coin, or a so-called zero knowledge proof, which allows you to transfer a zero knowledge proof from one person to another person without having to redeem it to a public address. Having no public addresses attached to a zero coin that travels through the blockchain is something that has not been done before on privacy coins. So I'm really bullish, and I will show you here live on my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
I think you can. This right here is the zero coin pool. So all the zero coins, they reside in one address, but everyone can prove they own 1, 2, 10, how many ever they actually own from this address. And with, for example, Zcoin, you would prove you own one of the zero coins, the zero knowledge proofs in this pool, and you will have to send it to a public address, redeem it. But what happened here is, look, it went from this account to that account, and it's still there, but the ownership was transferred. This is, in my opinion, is going to be it's going to be groundbreaking, or it should be groundbreaking. After digging into the GitHubs of like Zcoin and Pivx, I found experiments on their testnet trying to accomplish the same thing, but they haven't done it on chain yet. So I expect a little bit of an update from their side on this technology, as they have not announced this yet. So I kind of think there's going to be some waves to be created there. So let's jump into the chart. Oh, wait. Yeah, here's the chart. So Nix is currently trading just above 4,400 Satoshis, and there is a little bit of a gap below the current price. So honestly, I think that if it drops to 3,500 Satoshis, it's a great place to pick up some. But as you've seen,
market cap of Nix, Ronnie?
I think it's around 12 million.
12 million.
So it's a small cap. It's a small.
And where can we buy it?
You can buy it on IDEX. So that's spelled IDAX. So not EDEX.
So this is a real shitcoin. This puppy is an infant right here.
Yeah, this is like, you know, if you want the realm of shitcoins, this is a real shitcoin.
This is the realm of shitcoins right here. Shitcoin special.
Shitcoin special.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
So it's a small cap. If it gets traction, there's a lot of upside to it. One thing I want to mention about Nix is that once they have this decentralized exchange manager live, they will be integrated with BarterDEX. BarterDEX is the decentralized exchange of Komodo. They did an atomic swap with Komodo on chain a couple of weeks ago, and they have their development pipeline ready to have full integration with the BarterDEX. So I'm bullish on that.
That's huge.
That's huge. So Nix, if it drops anywhere below 4,000 Satoshis, I would, full disclosure here, I already own a shitload of Nix. But if I wouldn't, I would buy more down there, 3,500. And we'll have to see where that goes from here.
Thank you, Ronnie.
I'm gonna kick it back to you, man.
On your shitcoin special.
So we've got one that's a little bit of a bigger cap than Nix, going to Cash. Kyle over there. This is a $74.9 million market cap. Let's hear about Cash.
Yeah, simply, guys, cash is cash money. You know, that's the way I like to refer to it.
I've never played Cash. It was so heavily shilled before.
Oh man, you know, well, it's kind of always been one of those coins that I feel like disappoints. You know, just a little bit historically, but it's a long-term hold for me. It's a coin that I've really come to respect once I look at the team, look at who supports the Cash and Quoni fintech company, it really is one that I've come to like. And so let me explain to you a little bit, the background of Cash, the cryptocurrency. So Cash is a utility token. It will be the utility token used by the Quoni platform. Quoni is a fintech company that will provide trading, exchange, and next generation financial services powered by blockchain technology. So we all hear about, things like this, whether it be BitShares or Cash, or I think it's BTN, CNY, these exchanges that will provide liquidity to financial investments and financial instruments as well. And what that basically will allow is, in the future, whichever decentralized exchange will be able to provide this, it's going to provide investors the ability, even small-time investors, the ability to invest in different types of asset classes, whether that be commodities, bonds, equities, various cryptocurrencies. This will open the door for everyone around the world to interact with the financial ecosystem and landscape, where before you may have had to have a certain amount of certification or verification, whether it be a Series 7 or a Series 63 or something like that, in order to trade and acquire some of these different instruments. That may sound a little hazy. What I can tell you from an FA perspective and coming from a finance background is that this is a huge connector, and whichever is able to mass adoption first is going to be extremely successful. So one of the reasons that I like Cash as a leader in this niche of the crypto market is the fact that they're the only, as of September 2017, which I think it is still the case today, they are the first global cryptocurrency firm in the world to be officially licensed by the Japan Financial Services Agency. That's a very big deal, because Japan is probably the world leader in cryptocurrency adoption and
right now, for sure,
usage. So this is just absolutely massive. If Japan is backing Cash, then for me, that's an instant, just solidification for me that Cash is going to be here and be here for the future. So I really like this crypto from an FA perspective. From a TA perspective, Ronnie brought it to my attention earlier this week. It's ranging very tightly against BTC. It's been in about a 2,000 sat range where it's just been coiling up. It looks a bit like a rising wedge, and it looks like it actually just broke down out of the rising wedge. So I'm a little hesitant to buy here, but this may be the best entry point you're going to get if we do see a little alt season occur here. Otherwise, I'll look to buy at yearly lows around 2,287 sats. But right now I like Cash just from a fundamental long-term perspective. I think right now, if you're going to try and play a short-term swing, this is actually a great place to buy right around 274 sats, but the volume is low. I'm a little unsure on the market over the course of the past 24 hours. So I like Cash long-term, and this is just one of the ones I want to talk about today. So.
Nice. Yeah, Cash is a good one. And if they get World Book online, that's going to be huge. That is definitely groundbreaking for the space as a whole.
Sir,
what's
World Book? What's World Book, sir?
World Book is going to tie in everything that Kyle mentioned. So it's going to give everyone the ability on the Liquid platform to tie in the commodity trades that Kyle was mentioning. So that would give Cash, that utility token, a tremendous amount of value. So
did anyone actually use Liquid? Yeah, because
I've heard the UI is great.
I went on there today and I did a little registration and went through it. They have everything you need. You have margin trading, you have normal trading, you can buy ICOs, you can lend your cash for interest. You have stop losses, you have trading stop losses, you have limit orders, market orders, pretty much everything you need. Like, what Binance has, I think 165 trading pairs, but more. So, yeah.
This podcast is sponsored by Liquid. Let's get it. What else we got on the docket?
So, first shitcoin for the Shitcoin broski here, and we're going dirty deep dive shitcoin. 9.7 million market cap, $23,000 of 24-hour volume.
Oh, you guys
it's Origin
don't
Trail.
Even care. You guys just don't even care.
I'm going old favorite track.
I'm over here.
Listen,
$40 million a day in volume. You guys don't even.
This is. for me, when I'm looking at a coin, what I'm looking for is where was the bottom, because I'm not a TA guy, right? So for track, as I'm looking at it, bottom was about 400 sats. Right now, we're sitting at about 534. It looks good. It looks like some volume is starting to return on KuCoin. But when it comes to the project itself from an FA perspective, I think that supply chain and logistics projects are really where the first implementation of blockchain tech is going to be. I mean, you got IBM now really looking to implement there. What Track is doing is they're focused on origin tracing of food. Right. So if you look at and think about, when you go to the grocery store, when other people go to the grocery store, if someone's gluten intolerant or you're allergic to certain things, a lot of times when you're buying stuff, it's kind of a crapshoot. Maybe it says gluten free, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. What Track is looking to do, or Origin Trail rather, is create a decentralized system where these people who are providing food goods, if I'm a manufacturer, I can source through Origin Trail's tracing system products exactly from a source where I know exactly what I'm buying, so that people who are purchasing this and users who are purchasing this, before they put it in their body, they can purchase with 100% certainty and know that things are what they say they are. So from an FA standpoint, I see this being huge. On their roadmap, starting in Q4, they have an EU funded project, agriculture focused. It's about a 20 million euro project that's incorporating 100 partners. And I think that's going to be big. I mean, there's really a lot of upside to this project, especially considering that when it fell from grace, it made a fall from about 900 sats down to 400 in the span of a couple of weeks. So given some good news and some positive volume back in the market, I see this thing making a huge rocket back up. So that's shitcoin number one for me. I don't, like I said, TA is not my strong suit. I don't have that. If someone wants to pull up the chart and talk about it, that's fine. But when I look at a chart, especially for shitcoins, I just want to see where was the bottom in relation to where I'm buying it, to make sure I'm not buying a top and I'm not selling the bottom. So,
can I ask a question, Winnie?
Yeah.
Is Track doing anything like any hardware solutions, or are they just focusing on a software implementation of the supply chain?
Yeah, so their biggest thing that they're focused on right now is their ODN, so their Origin Trail Decentralized Network. So it's a software solution that connects these suppliers so that they can go to one central hub and they can communicate with each other on who's providing what. They can negotiate prices and they can make sure that things are sourced correctly. So if there is a hardware solution out there that they're getting ready to provide, that could be big, but I don't see nothing along the lines of like a Wabi who's got their own labeling in place. But I think this could be big. Something I don't over there, Max? I see that smile.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that later on. We'll get to that.
All right. I'm fine with that. I love to learn new stuff. I'm still buying this shit.
You wanna see the chart real quick on Track?
Yes.
I'm just pulling this up, so I'm just gonna pull this out of my there is a bit of a support down here, which is at 520 Satoshis. It's trying to move up, and it's having some resistance around 580 Satoshis. I think if it can move past this resistance, I think our target should be around, let's see, the first target would probably sit around 630 to 670 Satoshis. And after that, there's a bit of a mess here. So it's hard to say, but I would probably say 800 Satoshis is the bigger resistance on the way up.
Fantastic. I like what I hear.
That is extremely juicy. I like it as well. Let's hop into our next shitcoin of the day. You guys remember our old favorite? You guys remember our old favorite? By favorite, I mean overly shilled shitcoin on Twitter. Matrix AI. The hashtag is man. And let me tell you, now at this price, it's starting to look a hell of a lot better. Matrix AI, think Minority Report. Matrix AI is essentially a system that's designed to allow anybody to make a smart contract. It's designed to improve blockchain security, and it's designed to be super, super fast. think they quote a goal of 1 million transactions per second. Now, that is a goal, but compared to Visa's 25,000 transactions per second, that's usually the barometer that people are putting it up against. Currently, Man is actually an open source project, but the guy who is the chief network architect, his name is Bill Lee, and he was the lead architect of China's first Wi-Fi receiver. So this guy is really well connected in that space, but also obviously him and other members of the team are pretty well qualified as well. We actually did a very extensive actual analysis on the technology, like technological analysis, a couple of months back. And so we'll find a way to share that with all of you guys that are tuning in here on the podcast and the live stream today. It's a hybrid POS, POW coin. And basically it's using AI and blockchain together. So if you think of traffic lights, or if you think of smart driving cars, or any real world use case for AI in the future, they're looking to bring that onto the blockchain. FA wise as well, as of a week ago, they actually finished their test net. So mainnet is next on the list. Now, they've usually been fairly hush-hush as it relates to different shill or buzzword type things. They're not a company who has historically gone out and said, here's our roadmap for all these lofty goals. So there's still not a lot known about some of their development progress. And that makes me a little bit concerned, obviously. But based on this TA, which I will now pull up, I'm pretty excited some positions. So if you guys can see here, for those of you on the live stream, this was definitely some just absolutely massive sell volume back at the beginning of August, end of July. What we have here is a descending triangle that broke out, and currently the spot price of Man is about 35.50 sat. I don't love buying it here, though it is currently acting as support at 35.50. As you can see, if you can see the chart, that was previously a resistance. It broke through. It's now acting as support. I typically don't short support. For that reason, I'm going to buy some spot here for Man. I'm going to buy some at this particular price, but I am actually prepared to average down to about 30. I think I wrote it down, actually. I want to make sure it's accurate, but it was around 3,300 sat. Now, if I do get stopped out below 2,900 sat, I'll lose 13% on that position. That's a risk I'm willing to take, since my first profit target is the 236 fib, which is at 103%. That's a nice 2x from here, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I'm not promising you that that's going to happen, but it is looking really, really good right now. They have 5,000 followers on Reddit, 22,000 followers on Twitter, and they were heavily shilled back in the day. So if you can get your hands on some Man, it may be something that is attractive to you. And just to wrap this up real quick, they are currently only tradable on a couple of really shitty exchanges, but the most well-known one is probably KuCoin. So they are available on KuCoin. They just don't have a lot of volume on KuCoin. They actually have a little over $1 million in volume on CoinEgg, whatever the hell that is. Maybe they'll sponsor next week's episode.
Well, and I think it's important to mention that. I mean, before we jump into too many more, a lot of these shitcoins are going to have low volume. It's important to not market buy them, to be patient and let your bids fill that you're placing entries on. They may take a little bit longer, but to know that when volume comes, if you haven't been thinking about this ahead of time, these are going to run away from you. These are the coins that people FOMO into because they sit and they wait and they watch, and they're not taking positions now when it's ideal to do so.
Right.
So we've got BTC Jack Sparrow.
For those just tuning in,
just
a quick recap, just for those just tuning in, though. So which shitcoins have we already discussed? We talked about OMG and Man.
OMG, Man. We've covered Cash, Nix, and Origin Trail.
Track.
And now Track. Yes. Moving on to Ambrosis.
Ambrosis. All right, I'm not gonna. I won't lie. I'm a long-term fan of this project, which is why I'm taking the stage. But the real reason why I'm taking the stage is because actually Ambrosis is breaking through some resistances. So I think short-term there's going to be some gains to be made. From a fundamental perspective, let me introduce to you Ambrosis, which is why I was laughing a little bit when the Shitcoin Broski was talking about Track, Ambrosis is a supply chain management blockchain, just like Track. The difference between Track and Ambrosis is that Ambrosis is actually looking to provide also hardware solutions to figure out ways to create tamper-proof sensors that can track and trace parameters during products that move from A to B. So Ambrosis focuses on food and pharmaceutical products. They have some partnerships that are disclosed with, for example, Trek Therapeutics, which is quite a big one. And there is a lot of rumors on which parties they actually might be attached to, but apparently all these partnerships are under NDA. So they might be full of shit. They might not be full of shit. We don't know. By the end of Q4 this year, they will release their mainnet version V2, which will be the full enterprise-ready solution. Yesterday or the day before, they released a partnership with a big Korean food retailer, and they will be track and tracing their beef. So what Ambrosis does is they create all these sensors that will provide proof on DNA, temperature, everything else, and eventually that should guarantee, if these sensors are tamper-proof, that the data on the blockchain is actually correct as well. They're a small market cap, 20 million, and if we start looking at the chart here, you can see that volume is picking up, and I drew this resistance line 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and it actually broke through. Once we go beyond like 2,700 Satoshis, which, I mean, we've been trying to go through there, there's not a lot of resistance all the way up to 3,300, all the way up to 3,500 Satoshis. So that's, short term, that could be 20, 25, all the way up to 30% gains. As their mainnet V2 is going to be released, their mainnet V1 is already live, there has to be a moment where those NDAs that are rumored with pretty large enterprises that have revenue in the billions and billions of dollars, they should become visible, because if they have partnerships, if they're using Ambrosis, we will be able to actually verify that on the blockchain. So keep an eye out on news and partnerships for Ambrosis, because if it's true, I hope it's true, it could be a real winner with only 23 million market cap.
I feel like Ambrosis is one of those coins that I remember seeing pump a lot. I mean, what does the I remember trading Ambrosis at one point, actually, I think on your financial advice. I can't recall the outcome, but does it have some liquidity? I mean, does it have? Can we go and buy enough to without having to work up the order book?
I think at this point, I'll have to check. It's been volatile. It trades on Binance. It's like the only place it has volume is on Binance.
Hopefully they don't get that delist hammer. Binance has been hammering folks lately.
Oh, that's a good thing about Ambrosis. Ambrosis is based in Switzerland, and they're fully approved and regulated by the Swiss authorities in the crypto valley that they have in that they're building in Switzerland. So they on like the regulatory part, they did everything correct. There's 1.2 million volume today. So
okay, sure, we're good then. We're good then. I only have 0.1 BTC in my portfolio, so we'll be good. I might go all in on Ambrosis though.
Mm-hmm.
I like
that
it.
thing bled to death. Look at this chart. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that looks like every other chart in crypto.
So Ronnie, are we ready to move on to the next coin there? Now that we've got
yeah, let's go.
Kyle,
we can't. I don't think we can hear
Kyle.
So his not well enough. His microphone is
down.
He said his microphone caught fire. So we're probably going to have to circle back on Kyle's second pick next week.
All right,
but we'll keep.
What's your second pick? Oh, can we know? Can you disclose that?
Alf.
Alf.
Alf fans in the house. Is that the TV show from the 70s?
Is anyone old enough to remember Alf?
I have a little secret on Alf.
Give us
secret
some news.
What's the secret?
It's I think part of the monthly coin analysis by Bitcoin Bravado. So.
Oh, yes, it is. You're welcome, everybody. We have a nice little write-up on Alf, but I'll pretend not to know anything else about it. Decentralized cloud computing blockchain network. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we will cover that on Friday. We'll make sure to talk a little bit more about ELF. ELF is the ticker symbol there. What do we got on your last coin there, broski?
Well, if it's just to me, I think that anyone that's ever had longer than a 5-minute conversation with me knows that one of my favorites is Ravencoin.
This is just becoming shill our bags show.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think that this is one where everyone will thank me later. Right now, Ravencoin's at 29.9 million market cap, 266,000 daily volume. They've got a 21 billion total supply. And for those that don't know, it's a fork off of Bitcoin. A lot of the core developers for Ravencoin they're incredibly active. Every update that they have said they're going to push out, they push out ahead of schedule. I've been a part of their wallet beta test since September. I would love to say it's phenomenal, but to be honest, I haven't transferred any of my bag because you will pry that from my cold dead hands. But it looks great. And the functionality otherwise, their mainnet is launching at the end of this month. They're also giving the ability for asset creation so that there is the ability to live up to their goal of being the best place for digital asset transfers on the blockchain.
Dude, I didn't know that was coming out this month. We just caught one of those with CMT, and that was an easy flip.
Oh yeah, and right now they have not started to announce their partnerships. There are people that have lined up to actually launch assets on Raven's blockchain, but they haven't disclosed a lot of those yet. So I'm excited to hear what comes from it. They've got their first annual meeting at the end of this week in New Hampshire. And they're going to be, of course, discussing the next year, but they are planning a lot of big news to come out that coincides with Bitcoin's 10th anniversary, which of course is Halloween of this year. So lots of big stuff on the docket for them. I've been accumulating this since under 200 sats, just barely under 200, but right now it's sitting at about 230. So not a tremendous amount up from that. It went up to almost 500 a month or so ago when it listed on Bittrex. So this has the ability to move up. There are a lot of big believers in this that are just sitting on it right now because this is a buy and hold for a lot of people. There's long-term potential, but I think in the next quarter we're going to see some major action on Raven.
Well, you got me excited. I still have been ignoring your requests to buy your bags, but I might start doing it now.
It's time to accumulate. Something's got to replace Eve. I think it's Raven.
No, someone asked Poly versus Raven. Do you have any thoughts on what makes Raven better than Poly?
Yeah, so it is very astute that you would ask that. So Polymath is great, but Raven is gearing up to be a platform for security tokens or securitized token offerings. And the big benefit for using Raven versus Poly is, for one, the developer's ability to actually back what they're saying they're going to do, and two, cost. So cost is much less in producing and launching your coin with Raven than it will be or is currently with Poly. And plus, I mean, when I'm looking at it, I would much rather have Medici Ventures, Overstock, T0, all of those people behind me in my corner than Poly, Poly's great. Can't give them any, can't throw them too much flack, but they've only been in business for a little over a year. So I'm going to go with longevity over that. So that's kind of where I stand on it. But I do see them being a huge player in the STO market game.
Perfect. I absolutely love it. So quick recap for those just skipping ahead. What are the 8 shit coins that we went ahead and covered today?
Today.
What else do we got?
So OMG and Man, Cash, Nix, Origin Trail, Track. We're going to talk about ELF on Friday, and then we covered Ambrosis and Ravencoin. Shitcoin special.
The shitcoin special.
Guys, it was a blast, I got to say.
It's my favorite thing to do is to buy shitcoins. It reminds me of yesteryear. It reminds me of 2017. It reminds me of 2016 in some ways, actually, and I'm very, very excited to do a little bit more of my own research on some of your guys' heavy ass bags to see what I want to add to my personal portfolio. The 2 coins I talked about, I actually do not have any positions yet. I did not fill before I shilled, but I am going to be looking to take positions now. Hopefully you guys are enjoying some of the coverage of altcoins. Just as a reminder, you can follow the largest and most engaged cryptocurrency Telegram in the space if you go to t.me/Bitcoin Bravado. We are 42,000 subscribers strong. Bitcoin Bravado on Twitter as well. And the website for those interested is trybravado.com. We're going to continue to share all of our news, insights, and market analysis. Broski, what else you got for us before we wrap up?
I think that will do it. Just remember, guys, set your reminders. You want to be tuning in here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're covering the news. We're covering some picks. We're covering BTC. We want to make sure that everyone is able to thrive in the crypto market, whether bull or bear. So you want to make sure you're tuning in to us 3 times a week and getting your fill. So without further ado, if there's nothing else, I think we should wrap this up. Kick it off until Friday, guys.
Just hit that obligatory like and subscribe button on YouTube and make sure to find us on the iTunes podcast so you can listen to us on the run. Peace out, everybody. Much love.
Thank you, everyone. See ya.
Take care. Bye-bye.